But he's got James O'Keefe, who I called him a felon earlier. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he is a convicted felon. O'Keefe and colleagues were arrested in New Orleans in January 2010. The charges in the case were reduced from a felony to a single misdemeanor count of entering a federal building under false pretenses. So he pled out. He had enough right-wing money to be able to get out of the felony. But all of the videos that he releases have been found to be highly edited. It's the Acorn pimp video and shit. So we've got another one of those videos, and apparently Sean Hannity is promoting it here on his Fox News show last night. Let's see what he's got to say.
Explosive new recordings from inside fake news CNN being released by Project Veritas, exposing fake news frauds like network chief Jeff Zucker like never before. Now, earlier this morning, Project Veritas's founder, CEO James O'Keefe, he called into CNN's morning editorial call, and well, you would say Humpty Dumpty's boss, Mr. Potato Head, didn't know what was coming. Take a look.
Right Wing Watch is awesome. I play their videos all the time.
Hey, this is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. I mean, we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system.
Project Veritas tonight released the first installment of these recordings. First up, we have a CNN
Let's hear one.
Producer and Zucker talking about covering the president's decision to not yet concede the race, suggesting CNN should frame the story by invoking the 9/11 terror attacks. We always let you decide. Here's the video.
Now I can go ahead and tell you what they're talking about. Was that, God, what official was it? It was the 9/11 Commission report that found that delaying the transition from the Clinton administration to the George W. Bush administration in 2000, because of the court cases, the hanging chads, contributed to the Bush administration not being able to respond to the intelligence on 9/11. I think that's a bit of a reach. Is it possible? Sure. But I mean, he also ignored the briefing he got in August. So, if you're ignoring a briefing in August, would that month you lost in December to prepare for the transition really matter all that much?
The 9/11 report talks about one of the problems was that the trouble that was brewing got lost during the transition. So if you want a good concrete example of what happens when you don't have a good...
That's correct. The 9/11 Commission report said that. So, I mean, what... I don't see the issue here.
Transition, go look at the Twin Towers.
Yeah. So I think that's an important point. I think it was discussed a little bit yesterday in terms of national security. I think it's really important to raise again.
Now, do you ever remember fake news CNN talking about the national security implications of the Obama administration? You know, the deep state using Hillary's dirty Russian misinformation dossier to spy on candidate Trump, President Trump, his administration.
Obama had Trump in the White House like 2 days after the election. What the fuck are you talking about? They never stalled the transition. Obama worked with the Trump transition team. But now, as long as we're talking about evoking 9/11, Fox News, they ran it into the ground. I have family members that became avid Fox News viewers after 9/11 because of the fear that they were selling. Used to walk in their house every day. Fox News would be on. I'm like, hey, that shit will rot your brain. Guess what? 20 years later, it totally rotted their brains. They have no clue about anything in politics. And they're Trump sycophants.
The biggest abuse of power, corruption scandal in history. No, they're the ones that peddled the conspiracy theories, the Russian disinformation dossier, perpetuating years and years of a Russia hoax. What about those national security concerns? They are...
Russia hoax. I hate it when I hear them say Russia hoax because I want to know what exactly was a hoax. Here's the Mueller report. That Russia's two principal interference operations, the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the social media campaign, the hacking and dumping operations, violated U.S. criminal law. Numerous links between individuals with ties to the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. The evidence was not sufficient to support criminal charges because the investigation established that several individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign lied to the office and to Congress, which is a crime. You can say Russia hoax all day long. I don't know what you're talking about. And the Senate Intelligence Committee, their report is even more damning than the Mueller report. But go on, Sean.
Glaring in their bias and their utter disgusting hypocrisy. Couldn't be more obvious, and it gets worse. Because next up, October, President Trump recovering from the coronavirus. Zucker's now telling his staff they need to resist.
But a pardon is an admission of guilt.
And to not normalize what Zucker calls desperate behavior. Does this sound like objective news to you?
Hoax confirmed.
I think we cannot normalize what has happened here in the last week with Trump and his...
Seriously?
This is a president who knows he's losing, who knows he's in trouble, is sick, maybe is on the after effects of steroids.
Okay, so this was October 9th.
He is acting erratically and desperately.
He was!
We need to,
no.
We need to not normalize that.
And Joe hiding, that was normal. Lastly, weeks ago,
Joe wasn't hiding.
To target Senator Lindsey Graham, saying the network needed to, quote, go well after Lindsey Graham. Target the guys we don't like. Take a look.
Frankly, if we've made any mistake, it's that our banners have been too...
As if Fox doesn't target the people they don't like. AOC, Ilhan Omar. Specifically them. Obama. Holy shit. Talk about hypocrisy, Sean. Talk about bias, Sean.
Polite, and we need to go well after Lindsey Graham. There is a lot of news out there.
This is on 11/17. This is on 11/17. This would have been when Lindsey Graham was attacking Georgia, I do believe. When he was calling up the Secretary of State, trying to pressure them. Yeah, you probably should go after Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham really deserves it.
Yeah.
CNN responded claiming that O'Keefe may have committed a felony, but didn't offer any specifics or cite any laws allegedly violated. Here now, he's the CEO.
I know. So when I record people, I've done it a few times on this show. If I call someone, the moment they pick up, I have to let them know, hey, I'm recording. That is a law. I don't know what the law is in Georgia because it varies from state to state. But just to cover my ass, I always say it, and it's something I've always done as a news person. So yes, James O'Keefe, once again, very well could have been violating a law.
Oh, he is the founder, Project Veritas. James O'Keefe is with us. All right. Every time you've been sued, has anyone done so successfully?
No, Sean, we've won every single lawsuit at Project Veritas, and I know they said, quote, this is CNN Communications, legal experts say this may be a
I don't think that's true.
We have legal experts at Project Veritas, and we think Jeff Zucker is just very mad and embarrassed here for what we have exposed.
Now, you're going to be
They
on
didn't
the
expose
program all
shit.
week, and we're going to release more tapes every week so we can focus in on what you're going to release every day. Now, they peddled this Russia lie for 3 years over there. They never apologized. They never corrected the record, and they reported fake, phony news and advanced conspiracy theories. They have stalkers of the Fox News channel, and we're getting lectured by them. Is this a news organization to you?
No, Sean, this is something that doesn't shock people but confirms a lot of suspicions. To see the president of a media conglomerate barking orders at his reporters and journalists, telling them what to cover, what not to cover, that's not anything resembling journalism I know. I run an organization with a few dozen reporters. They come to me with...
What? That's exactly how editorial meetings work in news stations. I've been in news stations since pretty much the beginning of my career. You sit around with producers, editors, reporters, discuss what you're going to cover. You don't do news like James O'Keefe. Jesus Christ.
Facts. They're not yesing me. In fact, they're challenging me. And what Jeff Zucker is doing on these phone calls is telling people what the story is, telling them what not to cover. This is propaganda. And
He's the boss.
Where citizens have to exercise their rights and duties, the consent needs to be informed. This is manufacturing consent. And we've never actually seen it.
Don't use a Noam Chomsky
the president of the
phrase, you piece of
his
shit.
vice presidents, instruct his reporters what the narrative ought to be. This is the farthest thing from journalism that I know. And I think that CNN owes an apology to the people. I mean, this is...
I do!
And this
is, that's one of the things, like, in order to take this show to the next level, I realize that I need to actually sit down and watch the stuff I do and, like, have thoughts about it already compiled. But that's a lot of fucking work. And I ain't making any money off of this, or that much just yet. If there's anybody out there that would like to pay me $50 to watch their video, please, I will take it. Just expect me to be honest about your video, which I was to the dude. Good rapper, shit message.
The
also
first time
looks
we've
like an
actually seen
in-kind
it.
donation
You can actually
to
hear
everything Biden. It looks like they had picked a side. They picked Joe Biden's side. All right, the way you do things, you have a lot more coming. How long?
This motherfucker campaigned for Trump. Hey, Sean, you picked a side. And you dare call out hypocrisy.
Did you record these morning calls?
Well, I told Zucker this morning when I live streamed the call, I said I've been doing this for 2 months, and he was kind of shell-shocked by that. We've been recording for weeks and weeks, Sean. It's Christmas, December 1st. It's going to be like, I guess, an advent calendar. We're going to be releasing tapes every day, and we have more tapes tonight, tomorrow, and it's going to be, this is the brave whistleblower insider who came to us with this information, Sean, and we encourage more people inside.
I wonder how much they got paid
whistle on the corruption
to give that number.
All right, we look forward to installment 2 tomorrow. Ow.
Oh God, it's like the Hunter Biden laptop.